In this presentation, I want to tackle a pervasive problem in the world of pre-workout supplements: underdosing. Far too many products promise big benefits but deliver little more than a caffeine kick. I'll start by defining what underdosing means and why it undermines your training. Then we'll explore why companies skimp on active ingredients, compare research-supported doses with typical formulas, and examine how to spot red flags on a label. I'll break down the key ingredients: citrulline, creatine, beta-alanine, betaine, tyrosine, and alpha-GPC, so you know the clinical ranges to look for. We'll also discuss caffeine safety, proprietary blends, myths about dosing, and how ingredients work together. By the end, you'll be equipped to evaluate your pre-workout, avoid wasting money, and maximize performance. Here's the roadmap for today's talk. First, we'll define underdosing and outline the many reasons it happens in the supplement industry. Next, we'll compare clinically effective doses with what you typically find on the shelf. After that, we'll dive into specific ingredients and identify common red flags that signal a weak formula. We'll go through a simple label reading checklist and dispel some persistent myths about proprietary blends and synergies. Finally, we'll summarize key takeaways and leave you with practical steps to choose a product that truly fuels your workouts. When I talk about underdosing, I'm referring to a situation where a product contains less than the minimum effective dose established by research. For instance, a supplement might list citrulline on the label, but if it only delivers 2 grams instead of the 6 to 8 grams used in studies, you're not going to see the benefits. Consumers often assume that ingredients on a label guarantee results, but without sufficient quantity, you'll experience little more than a temporary boost from caffeine. Underdosing wastes money, limits your progress, and erodes trust. Understanding this definition is the first step toward making smarter choices about what you put in your body. There are several reasons companies underdose their formulas. The first is simple economics. High-quality ingredients like pure citrulline and beta-alanine are expensive, so lowering the dose keeps manufacturing costs low and profits high. Second, marketing plays a role. Long ingredient lists look impressive on the label, even if each compound is present in a negligible amount. Third, proprietary blends allow manufacturers to hide individual amounts, making it impossible for you to see whether the key ingredients are clinically dosed. Finally, many brands lean heavily on stimulants such as caffeine because they're cheap and provide an immediate kick, masking the absence of real performance enhancers. So how can you tell if a pre-workout is underdosed? Start by looking at the serving size. If a product boasts 20 ingredients but the scoop weighs only 6 grams, it's unlikely to contain effective amounts of anything. Next, look for transparent labels that list each ingredient with its exact gram or milligram amount. Avoid proprietary blends or matrices that hide the specifics. Effective formulas should provide around 6 to 8 grams of citrulline, 3 to 5 grams of creatine, adequate beta-alanine, and clearly disclose caffeine content. Be wary of products that rely heavily on caffeine to compensate for poor dosing of other nutrients. Research shows that certain doses are needed to produce meaningful performance benefits. For example, studies use 6 to 8 grams of citrulline to boost nitric oxide, 3 to 5 grams of creatine to saturate phosphocreatine stores, and 3.2 to 6.4 grams of beta-alanine per day to increase muscle carnosine. Yet many popular pre-workouts include only 1 to 3 grams of citrulline, 2 grams of creatine, and minimal beta-alanine. The takeaway is simple. Unless a product matches these higher doses, it won't deliver the effects seen in research. Let's start with L-Citrulline, a non-essential amino acid that converts to arginine in the body and drives nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide widens your blood vessels, improving oxygen delivery, endurance, and pump during training. Clinical studies consistently use 6 to 8 grams of pure citrulline to achieve significant performance gains. Unfortunately, most pre-workouts include just 1 to 3 grams. To see real benefits, look for products that provide at least 6 grams per serving. Creatine and beta-alanine are staple ingredients for strength and endurance. Creatine works by saturating muscle phosphocreatine stores, enabling rapid ATP regeneration. To maintain saturation, you need 3 to 5 grams daily. Beta-alanine increases muscle carnosine, buffering acidity during high-intensity exercise. Without full dosing, these compounds will not deliver their full benefit. Betaine supports cellular hydration and power output. Clinical trials use 2.5 to 5 grams per day. Many formulas include only 1 to 2 grams, which limits its effectiveness. L-Tyrosine supports dopamine and noradrenaline production, improving focus under stress at 1 to 2 grams. Alpha-GPC supports acetylcholine and neuromuscular drive at 300 to 600 milligrams. Underdosing limits cognitive performance. Effective caffeine intake ranges from 2 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Total daily intake should remain under 400 to 600 milligrams to avoid crashes and sleep disruption. Proprietary blends high dosing. Look for transparent labels, realistic scoop sizes, and clearly disclosed stimulant content. Check scoop size, verify individual doses, and total stimulant intake before buying. Properly dosed ingredients work synergistically when taken 30 to 60 minutes pre-training. More ingredients do not equal better results. Dosing matters more than label length. Understand clinical doses, avoid proprietary blends, and choose transparent formulas that support real performance.